following is a Galactic Digital Studios production. This is Are We Not Entertained, part of the Closing Tag Network. So if you're interested in Marvel stuff and Marvel news, well, this is the place to be. This is the place to chill out and hang out and listen to some bumbling idiot ramble on about Marvel stuff. So there you go. This is Are We Not Entertained, part of the Closing Tag Network. Now, there's a lot of news. I'm going to pull up some new stuff here real quick. So, I hope you guys like Fantastic Four, because Fantastic Four just got a lot more interesting. On top of the current cast that was announced before, that I've reported on this podcast before, you know, guys like Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby and Ebon Moss-Bachrach and Joseph Quinn. Those guys are the Fantastic Four. Since our last conversation, there have been a lot of changes. And by changes, I mean people added to that core cast. First, let's talk about Julia Gardner. Julia Gardner, if you don't know, was a key integral part of the Netflix series Ozark. Yeah, I don't know shit about fuck. That girl. She will be the woman version of the Silver Surfer. I forget the character's name, but basically it's a comic book canon version of the Fantastic Four that's a girl. She's going to be playing that. In addition, in not yet confirmed roles, several outlets have reported that Paul Walter Hauser and John Malkovich have been added to the Fantastic Four cast. Could we finally have our Doctor Doom? And I'm not talking about Walter Hauser. I'm talking about Malkovich. John Malkovich as Doctor Doom? That's pretty crazy. That would be nuts. There are some rumors circulating around Giancarlo Esposito possibly joining the MCU, and I'm all here for it. You know, shut up and take my money type of all here for it. Sorry, there's like a thing right there. But it's a shadow. Never mind. If you're watching on video, you know what I'm talking about. But the biggest one, well, second biggest one, in my opinion, is the addition of Natasha Lyonne. Natasha Lyonne, in case you don't know who that is, educate yourself. Natasha Lyonne was the star of the recent hit series Poker Face. Basically, she plays a detective. The best way that I can describe it is the way that I heard someone else describe it on a different podcast. And that is, she's basically Matlock with a literal bullshit detector. She's a good actress. She's really good at what she does. And I think whatever role they plug her in this Fantastic Four series or this Fantastic Four film, I think she'll knock it out of the park. May steal the show, which is difficult to do considering Pedro Pascal is on the show. And I'll get to Pedro here in a bit. There's some other news regarding him. The biggest one, though, and this is only because we now know that he is going to be playing a certain character, Ralph Ineson. Now, if you don't know who Ralph Ineson is, I don't blame you, because neither do I. I should educate myself, right? Okay. Anyway, Ralph Ineson will be playing Galactus in this Fantastic Four film. Yes, we're going to be getting Galactus. One of the biggest bads in Marvel history is coming to the MCU. Buckle up. Because it's going to be a fun, wild ride. The thing that I'm noticing about Marvel is ever since Endgame, it's been kind of a roller coaster. I mean, especially with the TV shows. The TV shows have been hit and miss. You know, WandaVision, excellent. Just fantastic. But it was only a one season, knockoff. One and done. Secret Invasion, not so much. The Eternals, not so much. Loki, excellent. And I think Loki is going to play a pivotal role in this Deadpool Wolverine movie that's coming up on the 26th of July. And I cannot wait. I'm trying to save up enough money for me to go see it in theaters that weekend. And if I do, I will be on here with a report. Yeah. But Galactus showing up in the Fantastic Four movie gives me an indication of who the next big bad is going to be. Because originally, if you remember, Kang was supposed to be the big bad in this next phase of Marvel, in this next phase of the MCU. But thanks to Jonathan Majors, that plan is completely left. It is gonzo. So, the speculation has long been who's the next big bad now that Thanos is dead, now that Kang is pretty much donezo. Who's the next big bad? There was a lot of reports that it was going to be Doctor Doom because they're bringing in more of this Fantastic Four property into the MCU. Doctor Doom's a good choice. Galactus is a better choice. Galactus definitely feels like an Avenger level threat. And especially if they're going to be doing a complete 180 on the whole Eternals and Celestials type of thing. Because if you remember, there's a report that Marvel has pretty much scrapped any chance of the Eternals coming back. So, if the Eternals aren't coming back, then, that's a reset button worthy event for Marvel to say, okay, we're not going to do anything more with the Eternals, so let's focus on these Celestials. There was a report that Magneto was supposed to be the next big bad. And I'll get to the X-Men here in a bit as well. But Magneto, or the X-Men, is currently on hold for the moment, at least any live action X-Men, at least until after the movie for Deadpool and Wolverine has been released. And then they're going to start potentially, talking about casting and whatnot for the new X-Men. By the way, I will riot if Henry Cavill's Wolverine is a one-off. If they're going to tease us with Henry Cavill as the Wolverine Yeah, just make him the Wolverine. Whatever money he's asking for, just don't repeat the same mistakes that Netflix made. Just, yeah. Anyway. And speaking of Marvel and, seasons and whatnot and their TV shows, that brings me to the other part of the Marvel news that I have for today. And that is that they are bringing back Miss Marvel for season 2. And I'm over here like, okay, show what you got. I have not had a chance yet to see The Marvels, the movie The Marvels. I'll probably do that this weekend. Depends on whether or not I'm insanely busy with work, which I usually am. But that's a big thing that's going to be going down Miss Marvel season 2, supposedly. At least according to inside reports. The gal that plays Miss Marvel, I forget her name, but she's adorable as a button and is not exactly shy of speaking her mind when it comes to Marvel and the MCU and Disney and all these other things. I mean, she's not controversial, but she's very outspoken. There's a difference. But she's outspoken in a good way. At least I think so. Now, does that mean they're bringing back all the cast from that particular show? Maybe. But there's a lot of other Marvel stuff going on as far as they're still trying to hammer out the new Captain America movie. They're still trying to hammer out everything that's going on with the Thunderbolts movie. But in any event, let me see if I can figure out what the other let's see. Oh yeah, Agatha Harkness. Agatha Harkness is coming back, which we already knew about that. Oh yeah, Hawkeye. Again, I'm over here like, okay, show what you got. Because my understanding was that Hawkeye, Clint Barton, the guy played by Jeremy Renner, is retired. He's donezo. So does that mean that we're only going to be following Kate Bishop? And maybe Natasha Romanoff's sister? Maybe? I don't understand yet, anyway, what the thought process is with the MCU. But that's the thing about Kevin Feige, is that he is usually 3 steps ahead of everybody else in these things. Like I said, though, Marvel since Endgame has been very hit and miss. Now, I happen to like the Hawkeye series. I happen to like Miss Marvel. I was not a big fan of Secret Invasion. I feel like that was the weakest of all the Marvel shows that they've done so far. I'm going to give you a hot take right here now. I actually liked Echo. I thought it was really cool how they incorporated, Native American ideology and mythology into the Echo character, and really helped, explain, what exactly her superpowers are, aside from being a badass who just happens to be deaf. I really liked that aspect of the character building in that show. I happen to like WandaVision and what they did with the Agatha Harkness character. The reveal, it was like either second to last or third to last episode of that series, where they revealed that the friendly neighbor for Wanda was Agatha Harkness the entire time. That was just like, mind-blowing, but in an excellent way. It was excellently done. I loved it. I think the TV series for Agatha is going to be, spot on. It's going to have that same, vibe. It's going to have that same, WandaVision type of feel to it. There's not really anything else they can do with the WandaVision story. Because aside from revisiting Faux Vision, because remember they had that whole thing with the fake Vision, the one that ended up going away, and the new Vision, the one that was reconstructed by Corporal Douchebag. They had that whole interaction at the end, but other than that, there's really nothing they can do with the WandaVision story. Vision's gone. The kids are gone. Wanda is presumed dead at the end of the latest Doctor Strange movie. Sorry if that's a spoiler for some of you. But there's really not much else they can do with that storyline. So going in that direction where they're now focusing more on Agatha than they are, Wanda, I think is an excellent decision. And really the only decision they have other than just completely cutting off at that point. Daredevil's coming next week or next year, which I'm super excited about because, that's a series that's been talked about ad nauseum ever since Charlie Cox came out and admitted that they're filming for new Daredevil for the MCU. And right now, everything is kind of up in the air until after Deadpool Wolverine. Deadpool Wolverine, from everything I've seen, from everything I've read, from the trailers, from everything, I think Deadpool Wolverine has the potential to be another... What's that word I'm looking for? They've used it a few times. It's another critical event in the process of developing this MCU. It's going to be probably on the same level, if not more, than Quantumania. And just how critical it's going to be for the MCU going forward. Because not only are we trying to get Deadpool into the MCU, now we're starting to incorporate the X-Men. The X-Men has been something that a lot of people have been clamoring for, because ever since Fox got bought out by Disney, the X-Men has basically been on hiatus. Now, granted, they have X-Men 97, which is the animated show that everybody keeps telling me I should go watch, but when do I have the time for that? I'm still trying to get caught up on Invincible. Come on now. But no, X-Men 97 has been knocking it out of the park, from my understanding. And people are still clamoring for the X-Men in the MCU. But no, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now with the MCU. There's a lot of stuff that's going on with Marvel and whatnot. So, why did I mention Pedro Pascal earlier? Well, funny, you should mention that. because there just happens to be a certain something that's currently in the works. I'm just going to pull it up here now. And I'm going to switch screens here real quick. Give me 1 second. A moment, please. What you're seeing now on your screen, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or live on Twitch, is an image of Pedro Pascal as Joel in season 2. That's right, season 2 of The Last of Us. It's coming. And if you don't think for 1 second I am, excited as all get out for this to come down the pipe, you don't know me very well. I'm excited. I'm thoroughly excited for this. So, and, to all the haters out there, I will say this. The Last of Us and Fallout may very well be the best video game adaptations I've ever seen. We're long past the days of, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and all these different properties getting completely shat on. We're well past that now. We're in what's called the good days. We're in the golden days now for video game adaptations. So forgive me if I sound a little skeptical about the news of a possible Among Us release. Yes, they're going to make a movie out of the video game that has captivated America during the pandemic. They're going to make a movie out of Among Us. Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that. I really don't. I'd say show me what you got, but do I really want you to? And that's all the time that I have for today, guys. If you're interested in donating, donation button is in the upper right hand corner of theclosingtag.com. That's theclosingtag.com. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a review. Reviews are awesome and reviews are open. If you are watching this on Facebook, like, share, comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. That way, you're notified every time a new video drops. And we're in the process of putting together more reels for the entire Closing Tag network. I've got several of them out right now for the for Sports Central. I've even got a couple for, I believe it's Ring the Bell, and there's one for News Desk. But trying to put together some for entertainment and some other ones. But it's a long process. We're going back in the archives and, digging some good stuff up. But in any event, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If everyone that has been listening, watching, downloading, donating, doing everything you can to help chug this train along, I'm losing my train of thought. Your efforts are not going unnoticed, so thank you. And until next time, remember to include your closing tax. Thank you. This has been a Galactic Digital Studios production.